Want to know how to drop body fat and not feel tired, lethargic, and like crap? Watch this.
Our first caller is Caesar from Florida.
Caesar, what's happening, man? How can we help you?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, man.
I just wanted to quickly say I'm a brand new listener. I've only been listening for like about almost 2 months now.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
And yeah, I just want to thank you guys because for like the past 2 months, I've just been listening. You guys are the only podcast that I'm listening to now. And you guys have fundamentally changed the way I think and the way I view fitness and health. So I just want to thank you guys for that.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
So a little bit of background. I'm 21 years old right now. I'm 5'11", sitting at about 213, 214 pounds. And my fitness journey just started maybe about a year and a half ago. I fell into the category of like skinny fat, not like too big, but not like scrawny, you know? Prior to that, I never really worked out as much. It was usually like high school PE, physical education, stuff like that. But I was normally more like insecure about how I looked and how I felt. So thank God my best friend, shout out Armani, I'll send him this podcast so he can start listening to you guys too. He actually was the one who got me into the gym. And I think around that time in my life, I was lacking a consistency of like anything. So the gym became more of a help through mental health for me. And that bled into having a better understanding about physical fitness and health. So I started growing a little bit more muscle, losing a little bit fat, but the number on the scale wasn't going down. But then I realized that if I just felt good and my friends around me were telling me, hey, look, like your shirts are filling out, you're looking a little bit better. I was feeling good as well. So the number on the scale didn't really matter at that point, you know? So I just kept working out. We fell into the category of like powerlifting. So like bench press, heavy squats, overhead presses and stuff like that. And I built a lot of strength. I was hitting PRs and I felt really good. Over some time, me and my boy came to a conclusion where we were like, we kind of want to start a cut. And me being a newbie, I was like, what's that? You know? So we were looking up some information and, you know, young guys in our 20s, all we have to look up to is like influencers online, which kind of sucks because like they're usually either trying to sell you a product or they're trying to get a pro card themselves and they're trying to, you know, it's different mentality. Other than like us guys, honestly, we're just trying to look and feel good, you know? So we found this like super strict cut, which was like, keep in mind, my calories weren't like, I wasn't tracking anything. I didn't know what that was at all. So this introduced me to counting calories, hitting macros and stuff like that. So we did this cut, which was about 1,300 to 1,500 calories a day. And I was feeling very depleted. I was always super tired. The volume in the gym was like going down. I wasn't hitting PRs anymore. Actually, the weight going down. And but like fat was shredding off my body like insanely. I was around 225, 230 pounds, and I went all the way down to like 190. And I found out that I had abs. Muscle definition was coming out more, and my even friends around me were like telling me, bro, like you look good, this and this and that. But I was feeling like shit, you know. It was really bad. But that's when I realized that body dysmorphia was a real thing. And I would look in the mirror and I would just feel scrawny. So we did that cut for like about 2 months. That was the lowest I got, so around 190. But then I started introducing more calories. I was feeling a little bit better, but I was still losing weight. Well, which was kind of weird because I wasn't trying to lose weight anymore. I wanted to gain muscle, like build muscle mass. So after that, I did a bulk. I started looking up information. I did a bulk for like about 3-4 months. And I didn't know how. Basically what it said was intake more calories and work out harder. So I did that for like about 3-4 months. I went all the way back up in weight to like around 212, 213. And then I continued doing that. I reached back up to like around 215. And I gained a lot of muscle mass. I was hitting new PRs than the ones I did before. I was feeling a lot better. And I got to a size where I felt comfortable with doing another cut. So with my knowledge of cutting before, which kind of created a bad habit with food, it was the only cut I ever did before. So I tried to do that cut again, and my body was not responding to it at all. I started it last month. I did it for like trying to do it for like about 2 weeks, and I was feeling bad. It was, again, I was feeling very tired. I wouldn't want to get up to go to work in the morning. I would come home from work and I would just like fall asleep for like 2-3 hours, wake up and feel like crap at the gym. And, but yeah, so like, my question to you guys is like, what's the best way to work out? Should I change my workout? Should I change my diet? What would be the best way to do that if I just want to get lean and feel good?
Yeah, good question. First off, Caesar, you're 21 years old, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to commend you. Tremendous awareness, self-awareness at your age and how new you are to working out. The things that you're talking about and the way you're talking about how you feel. You mentioned body dysmorphia. That level of awareness through fitness takes people typically a lot longer, and especially men. It takes young men a lot longer to get to the point that you're at now. So you are kicking ass. You're really at a good place with your self-awareness, and I think you're going to get where you want to pretty quickly here. There's just a few things that are missing, and one of them is just the right information, okay? You just need the right information. You're one of those few people where if I give them the right information, I think that's usually enough to get that person to where they want to go. So here's where you went wrong before. Where you went wrong before is you cut calories too aggressively. Now, any cut is going to reduce some energy, and any cut, you're going to notice a performance drop in the gym. Okay, so that's just normal, right? If you have more calories, you got more energy. If you have less calories, you have less energy. But your cut sounds way too aggressive, 13 to 1,500 calories. I don't know where you were at before that. Based off what you're saying, it sounds to me like you went down 1,000 or more calories based off where you were before. So basically what you want to do, Caesar, is if you want to bulk or you want to cut, you got to figure out where you're at first before you do that. Okay, so let's say you're eating on average 2,700 calories a day, and you're like, hey, I want to start to drop some body fat. I wouldn't go from 2,700 to 1,500 calories. I'd go from 2,700 to 2,000 calories because it's less aggressive. You're going to get less of those negative side effects. You're more likely to feel motivated, more likely to feel good. And you hit the nail on the head. Like, okay, great, you're losing weight, but you feel like garbage and you're dreading it and you just don't want to do it anymore. And then one other thing you touched on is that it became less effective the second time around. And this can happen when your cuts are too aggressive and you do them for too long. The body actually starts to become better at storing body fat, and it starts to become better at holding on to it in a calorie deficit. In fact, in extreme cases, you'll see like high-level competitors, bodybuilders, physique competitors, bikini competitors, and they'll talk about burnout, and they'll be like, oh my God, my body doesn't respond anymore. I have to do more and more just to get down to the same body fat. So you just went too aggressive. You got to first track where you're at, and then from there, go slower, because you want to feel good while you do this. Otherwise, for most people, it's not worth it. Like, okay, great. People are saying you look good, you got abs, but you feel like garbage. Like, I mean, you already came to that conclusion, right? It's just not worth it. Same thing with the bulk. You might have gone too aggressive with the bulk, and you kind of said, basically eat a lot more and work harder. I mean, yeah, but it's way more complex than that. Really, a bulk is increase your calories, maybe 500 above where you were. And then your workouts, no matter what, your strength training should always be aimed at building muscle, whether you're trying to cut or trying to build. Now, why is that the case? Because if you're training in a way to build muscle, you're going to minimize muscle loss when you cut. And then when you're training to build muscle, you're going to maximize muscle gain when you're trying to gain. So those are the things that I would have you focus on. And I think if based off the awareness, the way that you're expressing yourself, I think knowing that, I think you're going to get there pretty quick.
To be even more specific to what Sal's saying, because I 100% agree with all the advice he just gave. I would get off the diet completely and eat when you're hungry. Make good choices. Track for 1 week. So download your favorite, tracking app, whether that's Fat Secret or MyFitnessPal or whatever else is out there. And the goal for that week is to eat when you're hungry, but make good choices, and then just track what do you consume on average. So then you get the total for the entire week divided by 7 days, and then we find out that it looks like right around 2,700 calories is where you feel satisfied. You're not really putting on a bunch of weight. You're not going down the opposite direction. You feel good energy-wise. There's homeostasis, okay? There's your caloric maintenance. From there, depending on what you want to do, like Sal said, if your goal is to bulk, add 500 calories to the diet. If your goal is to cut, reduce 500 calories from the diet. And you can do that in two different ways. You can do that either one, through creating more activity, or by reducing calories, or a little mix of both. Maybe I reduce 250 calories, but then now I go for an hour walk every single day that I didn't do before. That would also create that deficit. And then the last piece that he didn't really touch a lot on that I would add in there, because I don't know if your programming looks the same as what it has for the last year or so. So if you're kind of still following that, bench squat debt, which by the way is an incredible place to start, and I think was solid for you to do what you did, which is getting strong and lifting on the big five, right? But if it looks just like that, and it has looked just like that for a long time, you might also benefit from changing up your programming and give your body a new stimulus. And so that could look at by manipulating rep ranges, rest periods, exercises. I think based off of what I'm hearing from you, I'd love to give you MAPS Aesthetic or Performance. Either one of those I think would be a good new novel stimulus from what you sound like you've been training. The combination of a new training program, following a diet protocol like that, I think you're gonna feel great.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Caesar, I think Performance would probably be better to start with for now. MAPS Performance. So if you're not familiar with that, it's a movement-focused, kind of athleticism-focused strength training workout. So the goal is still to build muscle, but it's going to train your body in different planes of motion, which is probably different than what you've been doing. So it's going to help develop a more balanced body. And then from there, you can go back to what you were doing before or one of our other programs.
Or aesthetic. That's how I
aesthetic,
yeah,
yeah.
I'd go performance and aesthetic. I mean, that's how we wrote our programs in that order, is to follow a kind of 5x5-esque type of routine, which it sounds like you're kind of following, and then move into performance, and then move into aesthetic. So Doug will send you over performance to go that route.
Yeah, but I definitely want you to continue to listen to your body, and you're going to get a lot of information out there. I'm glad we're the only people you're listening to, because there's a lot of, there's more bullshit out there than there is good information. But
yeah, I actually fell into like listening to you guys on YouTube, actually trying to find the information that I'm asking you right now. So,
okay. Well, good deal. Well, I'll tell you what, even our information, Caesar, can sometimes be wrong for you. And what I mean by that is, listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, if your energy's down, if you start to feel pain that's not, normal, workout pain, but like joint pain, you notice your libido crashes. If it feels like it's too much volume, something we recommended or whatever, listen to your body, because, you're as an individual, there's going to be a variance between how you respond versus other people. And that right there is going to guide you so well on this journey of fitness that you just embarked on.
You're ahead of the game already, bro. Mm-hmm. You sound, for your age already, with the questions that you're asking, like Sal said, I think you're doing great, dude. You're going to have a great journey. Keep us posted along the way. You have questions, hit us up either on social or in the forum, or reach back out to us, man.
Yeah, keep digging into our podcast and everything else. We got you.
Yeah, I listen to you guys every single day now. So awesome. You guys have so much content out there. It's probably really hard to get through it all. So you guys are going to be ones I listen to a lot now.
Awesome.
So thank you guys.
Right.
Thanks for calling in, man.
I appreciate it, guys. Take care.
You got it. Yeah. How rare is it to hear a 21-year-old who just started working out to talk that way?
Yeah.
21-year-old guy.
Yeah, you don't hear that a lot, especially his own self-awareness, like going through that and really analyzing, how he was feeling through that whole process. It's like we just want to get big or we want to get shredded. That's really like the main focus typically at that age.
Dude, me at 21, I would have been like, I feel like shit, but I'm still doing this. I would have just not listened to
push
anybody.
through.
Just until my body just yelled at me.
It's wild how, you're right. His awareness at that age is so great. The fact that, but like he was at, big and strong at one point, felt like he wasn't big and strong, got lean, got super shredded lean, felt all scrawny. It's really interesting how you play mind games. I think that everybody has a little bit of this in themselves. And I always think, and I think you've said it before in the podcast, Sal, like, how many times have you looked back at a picture and said and go damn, man, I looked really good there looking back at the picture, but then also go have the awareness to go, oh shit, you know what though? I remember now that I think about it, when I was there, I thought I was this, or it really takes you to get outside of yourself in that moment and to look back and go damn, that's wild.
It's really hard to be present. And really acknowledge, how you're feeling in that moment. Cause you look back at those pictures like, man, I was awesome back then. And
what was I thinking?
Well, you're starving yourself or whatever.
And it also highlights what the main driver many times is for all of us, and it is that process of getting to a place where you choose exercise, you choose dieting, you choose training because, like Sal always says, you love yourself, not because you don't. And when it's driven by, I don't like the way I look, I don't like the way I feel, it
distorts the hell out of everything.
It distorts because even when you're doing great, you still don't think so because it came from a place that isn't good.
I literally, okay, so two things happened. Jessica saw a picture years ago. Her and I went on a vacation. She's like, oh my God, look how great, because right now she's pregnant, right? So she's like, wow, I can't wait to get fit. And I said, do you remember literally that morning? Because there was a conversation we had that morning where you were super self-critical. And she's like, yeah, I know. Same thing happened to me. I saw a picture of myself at 15. I was at work with my dad. I was wearing a tank top. 15 was the height of my insecurity, the peak of it. And I looked at it, I'm like, bro, I was a jacked 15-year-old. I had been working out already for a year, but I was so self-critical. I thought I was the skinniest, weakest looking kid in the world. So really can mess with you. And then, okay, now to go and kind of touch on what we said with Caesar, being too aggressive with your calorie changes is going to make it much more challenging. Bottom line, can you get there faster with a more aggressive cut or a more aggressive bulk? Theoretically, you can do that. There's studies that'll show, if you cut way more calories, you can lose more body. But the way it affects your behaviors and the way it affects how you feel, I always completely disagree because how you feel is going to dictate your behaviors. And if you feel like shit, okay, fine, you lost another 5 pounds of body fat. Let's see, we're going to be out in 5 months or 6 months. Right. You're going to rebound in the opposite direction.
Well, also, one of the things that played into his favor is that, at that, there's a little bit of, I don't know, what's a good term for this, metabolic resiliency at that age.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can get away with doing some pretty extreme diets and stuff when you're in your teens and 20s. If you've done that, 10, 15, 20 times over the course of a decade or 2 decades.
Or you're in your 40s and your sleep isn't great. Your hormones aren't what they used to be.
So half of the great results that he got from the massive cut was just because his body is that resilient and he's got a lot of things working in his favor. And it's so great that, like you said, he had the awareness to know this already because you could fall into that trap of, that's how you do it. This is how the way it's time to diet. I just starve myself for the next month and it'll get me to where I want to be. And to be aware enough to catch that this early, he's really going to save himself